when Manasseh called me and I asked, what was the title of the book? And he said, The Fourth John. I said, hey, this boy. I pray that I find just a little bit of the courage that you have, Manasseh, in my writings one day. But congratulations once again. I'm going to read an extract from chapter 13, and it's titled, Dumsor and the Politics of Power. The politics of power has often involved those who have power. So when in January 1961, John F. Kennedy was sworn in as the 35th president of the world's most powerful country, the first president he met was a man who represented the power and vision of the African continent at the time, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. The subject of the meeting was power, not the power to rule the world, but the power to eliminate a nation, fuel its industries, and provide the much-needed industrial blueprint for economic prosperity and the well-being of its people. The prospects of that power and its intended beneficiaries extended beyond the borders of Ghana, but they were well within Nkrumah's vision that, quote, the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is linked with the total liberation of Africa, unquote. He always thought beyond the country he governed. 3 years earlier, in 1958, President Kwame Nkrumah had met with JFK's predecessor, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York to discuss the same subject. Quote, it was there that Eisenhower expressed surprise that the United States had delayed consideration of this scheme for so long, unquote. Nkrumah would recall later, quote, thereupon, he turned to one of the principal aides in his party, who I believe was one of the key men in the White House at the time. He turned to him and asked, then why don't you get on with the damned thing? It was then that the damn thing, this giant hydroelectric scheme, was triggered back to life, unquote. Nkrumah said at the commissioning of the dam. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, was not a friend of the United States. Ghana and the United States were like the antelope and the lion in the ideological jungle. But long before Nkrumah and his American counterparts were born, the wise elders had declared that no matter the enmity between the lion and the antelope, they both have a common interest in the well-being of the forest that shelters them. Ghana and the US had to forge a strategic and compromised alliance for their mutual benefit on the Volta River project. The leaders of the two countries momentarily forgot about their ideological differences. The project involved building of a dam to generate hydroelectric power to serve Ghana and its neighbors and power the aluminium smelting plant at the Volta Aluminium Company, Valco, in Tema. The Kaiser Industries of the United States, which was identified as competent to handle the project, pumped oxygen into Nkrumah's vision, which stood to benefit both countries. It was the reason the American leaders lent their support for the project. In fact, it was Edgar F. Kaiser, President and Chief Executive of the Kaiser Industries Corporation, who took President Nkrumah to meet with President Eisenhower in New York. In 1961, Eisenhower left office after serving his second term. In November 1963, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, but the projects they had helped to set in motion continued in full force because the man behind the vision to get his nation power supply was both alive and in power. Nkrumah was an action-oriented man and was prepared to forge ahead with or without the support of the Americans as he later remarked at the opening of the dam, quote, "Thus, in 1959, when the financial arrangements were still incomplete, I decided that whether we succeeded in raising loans or not, we would go ahead with the scheme from our resources. I therefore gave orders for the preliminary works to be constructed, namely the Tema Akosombo highways, the necessary access routes to the site, and the building of a new township in Akosombo. By this time, we were nearing completion of the construction of the Tema Harbour and Township, which were also essential parts of the preliminary works. And so we commissioned Kaiser engineers to undertake the preparation of the necessary plans and tender documents. These decisions, risky as they then appeared, gained for us at least a year in construction time and its equivalent in money," unquote. 6 decades after Nkrumah and the American leaders compromised on their ideological differences and undertook a project that became Ghana's biggest, most consistent and sustainable power producer, the meaning of the lion and the antelope's adage eluded the NDC and the MPP the same way the proverbial urine has eluded the fowl. I won't repeat it. Both parties have defined the power problem since 1992, but they could not agree on the way forward. Each time one government began something, the opposition demonized the initiative and will try something new and different when it came into power. In 2012, for instance, their manifestos were very identical in what they wanted to achieve in the energy sector, but they could not synchronize their ideas and policies and agree on the way forward. For this reason, the problem has persisted and plagued almost every government in the Fourth Republic and crippled businesses while keeping some dreams and business ideas unfulfilled forever. Thank you.